Vaping can't possibly be a healthier alternative. Nobody knows what's in the e-juice. This is something that I hear time and time and time again. And it's Mini Myth Monday here in Mikey's lab. So this is something that I do hear a lot in my everyday life. And like any good scientist, I'm going to announce my biases up front. Vaping saved my life. I used to smoke 2 packs a day for nearly 20 years of my life. Back in October of 2015 was the last time I would have considered myself a smoker, and since then I have been on exclusively vapor. I can tell you my personal experience has been that I have felt healthier, that I have felt more vibrant, that I have had much more energy. I haven't actually even had a cold since I stopped smoking cigarettes. So in my opinion, anecdotal I know, and subjective I know, vaping is a great harm-reducing alternative to cigarette smoking. Now I'm also going to be upfront with one thing as well. Anybody who tells you that this is necessarily safe, probably not the most educated person in the world. We don't have the studies to guarantee that it's safe. I can tell you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that it is a massive harm reduction from cigarettes. So what is in e-juice? 1 second. This is a commercial e-juice that is available. Right? It's 60 milliliters of it. Costs roughly $30. At the $30 price point, it is significantly cheaper than cigarettes. That is one of the reasons that a lot of people switch. I didn't switch to save money, I switched to save my life. Now most juices are a 70-30 or a 75-25 split between propylene glycol and vegetable glycerin. So let's take a minute and look at those two, since they make up a total of 98% of almost all the commercial e-juice on the market. Propylene glycol is a synthetic, organic compound with a chemical formula of C3H8O2. It is a viscous liquid, nearly odorous, with a slightly sweet flavoring to it. To be honest, propylene glycol is found in a lot of things that you've already come in contact with. It is used in food, it is used in industry, it is used in lubrication, it is used in skincare, it is used in healthcare. It is used in a wide variety of applications. Trust me, if you are a human alive today, you've probably come in contact with propylene glycol. The acute oral toxicology of propylene glycol is extremely low. It requires vast quantities to have an even perceptible impact on human health. Propylene glycol is metabolized in the human body into pyruvic acid, acetic acid, and lactic acid. These are all compounds that are naturally found in digestion and other metabolic processes within your body. Propylene glycol is widely accepted as a non-irritant. For the most part, it has no interactions with the body. Some people who are hypersensitive may develop the slight irritation to skin if it gets on them. It can irritate the eyes in a non-diluted form if it was to be applied directly into the eye itself, but for the most part, there's very little reaction that has been found. It is not known to be a carcinogen or particularly genotoxic. It is a fairly inert chemical. So the other flip side of this is vegetable glycerin. If you're trying to look up details on this, just look up glycerin. Vegetable glycerin itself is just a specific subtype of a chemical inside of this. Wikipedia does not have an entry for for vegetable glycerin itself. So let's take a look at what vegetable glycerin is. Vegetable glycerin is an odorless, colorless, viscous liquid that is slightly sweet tasting, leading to one of the main applications that it's used for, which is as a food sweetener. When it comes to its use in food, it is often considered to be a carbohydrate, where it is turned into energy by the body. However, as an artificial sweetener, it is generally accepted to be better than most other types of artificial sweetener because of its lack of actual interaction with the body. And by lack of interaction, I mean, it goes so far as to have a different metabolic pathway than standard sugars. Alright, so we're going to do something different with this video that we don't normally do, okay? To show that this is the base and that this is what is normally inside of e-juice, on top of possible nicotine and artificial food flavorings. We are going to dive down to the bench and we are going to actually make some e-juice. I'm going to show you how simple of a formulation it actually is, and I'm going to talk you through the entire process of how this is actually produced. I'm going to add nicotine to mine since I still use 3 milligrams per milliliter of nicotine in the vape fluids that I do. However, we are not going to add the food flavorings. Alright, so we're here at the bench. We're going to mix some e-juice. I just wanted to show you how easy of a process this is and how simple of a formula a very basic e-juice can be. Now, we're mixing what I would call a flavorless e-juice with just the propylene glycol, just the vegetable glycerin, and then just the nicotine that would be going into it. Normally, most formulations have 1, 2, maybe 4 artificial food grade flavorings that are contained in the recipe as well. We're not going to go this way because I want to show you the very base level. Also, that's just a wide discussion of what can also be inside of food grade flavorings and whether or not we have long-term testing with that. I will leave that up to you to investigate for yourself. But we're going to be working with a high-level nicotine, so I've got my glasses on and I've got gloves. So I'm going to glove up. Okay, so the reason that I'm wearing gloves and I'm wearing glasses is not the vegetable glycerin and it's not the propylene glycol. It's the 48 milligram per milliliter strength nicotine solution that I am working with now. If you get nicotine into your eyes or onto your skin at this concentration, the very best you're going to wind up with is a massively elevated heart rate, and this could be a very, very bad situation. So if you're going to mix e-juice and you're going to use really, really concentrated nicotine to go into that e-juice, safety first, guys. Alright. So I'm just going to move my mic slightly out of my way here. Well, actually more in my way, but closer to where I'm working. Okay, so what we have here, we have our 45 milligram, as I said, per milliliter nicotine in solution. It is already diluted into propylene glycol, and it will be what we will be using to add the nicotine to our e-juice at this point. And just because I mentioned the wrong number there, this is 48 milligram per milliliter of nicotine. Dangerous stuff. We have vegetable glycerin, a liter of it. This stuff is fairly cheap. Alright, yeah. It's one of the bases. Then we have the propylene glycol. Right, again, another liter of it. We're not going to use anywhere near that today. We have a squeeze bottle. This squeeze bottle will be what we're putting the liquid into. The little, I don't know what this would be called, but it's the end the juice comes out of when you're done. And the cap of the bottle. And a syringe. Really, really big syringe. Alright, so this is not the first batch I've made today. Normally I would clean the ever-living crap out of this, but I made some earlier today, so we're not going to. First thing we're going to do is take the propylene glycol. We're mixing a 3-to-1 mixture for 75 to 25 dilution. So, I want about 5 milliliters of this. I don't know if I can get it so that you can see what I'm doing here or not, but we're going to try. I'm probably going to make a mess while I'm doing that. Alright, so we have some propylene glycol. And we're just going to put it into here. And I'm just going to eyeball it at this point. About a quarter. To be honest, I am not picky on the ratios. I really am not. As long as it's in the ballpark, it's usually fine for me. The only part that I am actually very, very picky on is the nicotine, and you'll see when I get to it. Okay, so that's all the propylene glycol we need. So let's open up the vegetable glycerin. This stuff is incredibly viscous. It can be very hard to get out of the bottle. Should need less than that, but we'll find out. Okay, that's about right. That's about 20 milliliters of the two juices now. Alright, so the very next thing we're going to do is we're going to add the nicotine. Now, I like to have about 1 milliliter of nicotine in my juice, so we're just going to go ahead and add the nicotine right now. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. This type of bottle produces very consistent droplets, so you can judge by counting the number of droplets how much is going into the bottle itself. From here, what we do is we cap the bottle, put on the exterior cap to seal it, and then shake. And you want to shake a lot. Alright, so for anyone who's interested, this is a dripper style mechanical device known as the Noisy Cricket. In case you're wondering how they work, I'll give you a quick rundown while I continue to shake this juice. What you have inside here, if you look, okay, you have 2 coils. Right, these are coils that I've wound. Put together, they have a 0.5 ohm resistance. I don't want to go much lower because this is a mech mod, and you get in danger of shorting out lithium ion or lithium polymer cells, which, as if you've watched my channel before, you know they have a tendency to explode when you do that. So let's not do that. And they have cotton that goes through those coils. And what happens when you press the fire button is the coils heat up, and it produces vapor. This is not the style, if you're thinking about getting into vaping, I'm just gonna wait for this to dissipate. This is not the style of mod I would recommend for somebody starting vaping. I would recommend that you go with a regulated mod. Regulated mods have a lot of safety features that will keep you a lot safer when you're first learning. This, if you don't know Ohm's Law, you shouldn't be running a mech mod. It's just that simple. Right, but this gives me much bigger clouds, much bigger flavor, and I happen to enjoy it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the juice that I have here, and we're just going to coat the cotton with it, like so. This being a dripper, there is no tank. Alright, so every time you want to vape, you coat the cotton. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and close that up, and cheers. And that is what's in e-juice. That is how you make e-juice, and that is how you save a smoker's life. It's that simple. For more information on vaping and for more information on the benefits that go on here, look at a campaign called No More Casualties. Another great place to go is a channel called Grim Green. I'll link it down below. He's one of my favorite YouTubers when it comes to vaping, but there are literally dozens of them. I want to thank you for joining me in the lab today. If you haven't already, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below to stay up to date on all of the making, science, DIY, technology, and now Mini Myth Mondays that we put together for you every single week. Once again, thank you for joining me. I hope you learned something, and I will see you next time.